Welcome back, Rainbow OMG Tribe. Today I'm going to be talking about another aspect of health that, often gets overlooked, and that is the fact that we are threefold beings, and that is physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. And if one of those cogs is out of whack, it's going to send the other two out of whack. And so we talk a lot on this channel about things we can do to help the body detox and help its natural processes and to kind of nourish the body, but we often get overlooked by mental health issues. And yes, there is a deep rabbit hole of research talking about how mental health is inextricably tied to gut health. But sometimes you just gotta go with the flow. And so you might notice I'm looking a bit rough for wear. And that is because, last week was a bit of up and down, and then we finally started to get regrouped and refocused, and Sunday is our day of rest in our house. We try to take one day a week where we just don't do anything. No business, no work, nothing. That's Sunday, our holy day. And it just so happens that we had some visitors pop in and, unexpected visitors. And that's always a beautiful and welcome thing, to find kinship with people. But me and my husband woke up today and we just kept trying to get stuff done. And it was like, no, we missed our Sunday because of our unexpected visitors, and we just kind of are having a day for mental health and doing stock take on things that need our attention. And sometimes people can send you things like, oh, there's a mental health thing you can go to chat to other people, but sometimes that doesn't really help. Sometimes you actually just need to sit with what's going on inside you and not distract yourself trying to tell your story to everybody else, or not trying to play nice face with people. And so today I want to touch on 3 principles that I try to practice pretty regularly and pretty daily, and it's just about like cultivating practices for a sustainable life. Because sometimes you don't have energy to go and give to other people. You don't have energy to explain yourself. You don't have energy to, just entertain other people, or even have that energy to play nice face. And what I mean by nice face is you're just playing nice to keep the waters calm and peaceful. And it's kind of important when you're feeling just drained and exhausted to just not try to distract yourself with going to meetings or counselors or this or that, but actually just to sit with it and be okay with it and integrate it. And the first thing I want to talk about is just practicing acceptance. I wish this was the first thing we were taught as children, is to just accept what is, and accept that we are all unique individuals on our own journey, and none of us are the same, and what is acceptable to one person is unacceptable to someone else, and that's okay. Acceptance is just accepting the way things are. It's not trying to change people. It's not, everyone's on their own journey to self-realization. And once you accept that they have to go through those things and trials and tribulations for themselves, then you can just relax and be like, I don't need to change them. I can't convince anyone of anything. I just need to accept them just the way they are. Wholly for their quirks or their neurotic tendencies, just accept. You don't relax. You don't have to change anyone. Perfect. Yeah, and just so for me today, I'm just accepting, like, my hair is crazy and unwashed, and I'm tired, and I have a lot of things I could be doing on this fruit and flower cycle, but I'm just accepting that my body needs rest. It needs time to integrate. It needs time to think of ways in which I can relax and heal and nourish parts of my family and my relationships and things like that. Here's a key point though. Acceptance does not mean passively submitting your will and you're just okay with whatever the world throws at you, oh, you have to go do this, you have to go do this, everybody's doing it, la-di-da-di-da. You don't just go along and be like, okay, I'll just do it because everybody else is doing it. It does not mean passively submitting your will to whatever agenda is being thrown at you. It means accepting that might be fine for you, but I'm not okay with that, so I'm not going to partake in that. And that's cool. I accept that you believe this is going to work, and I accept that I just need X, Y, and Z to, be productive and healthy and happy in my life. And then, so the second practice, and here's a good example, is that I accept my son has an insane amount of energy, and I accept that if I don't find healthy activities for him to channel that energy, that it comes out as agitation and aggression, and I know why he has an insane amount of energy that comes out as aggression. I accept that he had a very traumatic birth, and that affects his kind of energy state and how he interacts with people, and not many people know that or could understand that. For them, they just see a child acting psychotic and aggressive and they think that it's your fault, when really, that's been the hardest thing that me and my husband have kind of been trying to work through at the moment, is just how do we heal that birth trauma? How do we teach our son that he doesn't need to fight him against the world, and in fact but that was his first experience with life, so that was his very first emotional programming into this world, was literally fighting for his life, and that's a whole nother story. But if any of you have recommendations on how to heal birth trauma, I would love to hear in the comments below. I'm going through the list of things that I can do, so I would really appreciate any tips in the right direction with that. So I just know that I need to find activities where my son can channel his intense energy so that it doesn't come out as aggression, so that he can feel a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. I accept that is my child and that is his energy signature, and that I need to be an active participant in helping him to moderate how much energy he's putting out and what kind of energy that is, and activities we can do to kind of moderate that. Okay, the second practice I want to talk about is the mindful practice of non-judgment. It is so easy to just look at somebody and judge them for the clothes they're wearing, for the way they speak, for any number of things. We are so quick to judge one another. And, literally, you can judge a lot from a person by the way they walk, talk, act, but one thing we never stop to take time to realize is, what if that was me in that situation? How would I be coping with, being left out of the blue? Or, just always something I try to do is put things in perspective, and it's like, could I walk a mile in that person's shoes? I don't know what they've been through. And a big thing is having judgments against one another is so easy. So many people love to chit chat and bicker about oh, did you hear what she said and he said? And the thing is that gives you a false sense of superiority, of interiority and superiority, of something that they don't. And it's that's actually just a reflection of you, is that there's something that often what we're judging in another person is actually a reflection of something we need to work on ourselves. So, flip the script and uplift. Instead of judging somebody, just say, wow, I have a lot of compassion for that person, because I don't think I could walk a mile in their shoes. I don't think I could go through what they went through. And so just practicing non-judgment, you know, it's not your job to change people. And just, again, you're like, from a place of non-judgment, you can love somebody just the way they are, for all their neurotic tendencies, for all of their, you know, quirks and whatever. So let's see what else I have down here. And also, like, verbally listing the emotions that you're feeling. So in non-judgment, you know, so it's really like it's a form of you trying to express something that you don't really have the vocabulary to clearly express. So yeah, we're all on our own journey back to source and back home, and we all go through our own process of awakening, and that looks like different things for different people, and that's totally fine. But just, you know, it's not your job to be judging, and it's also not your job to worry what other people think about you either. So having compassion for everyone and everything is a really, yeah, put yourself in that person's shoes and see if you could walk a mile in their shoes. It's not easy. And then, oh, that's a big wasp. The third one is, and this is the clincher, is forgiveness. Can you practice forgiveness? Can you get over your minor details and your minor, you know, discrepancies and just be like, that's just the way they are. Okay, let's move on. I'm not going to judge them for what happened. I'm just going to accept that what unfolded, and that's cool, and I don't need to change that. If anything, it gave me clarity. You know, so forgiveness is the real alchemist of transmutation. So when you can wholeheartedly just say, you know what? I don't like what happened, but I accept it. And I forgive this person for the way they reacted. You're freeing up space inside of yourself to live more fulfilling experiences to come into your life. And that's really important, because if you're just running the same program inside, like, I can't believe she did this, I can't believe he did this, I can't believe, I'm, you know, first of all, saying I can't believe is a sign of disassociation, and that's very dangerous when you disassociate from your actions or your environment, or, you know, but it's taking up mental rent in your head. And so when you can just learn to accept what happened with no judgment and trust that you learned what you were supposed to and you got the clarity you were supposed to, then you can forgive that person and you can fully let go of whatever trauma or burden afflicted you. And you can just, okay, like, forgiveness is the key to freeing yourself from the chains of traumatic slavery. You know, if you're constantly thinking about a trauma that happened to you and you haven't fully, like, digested or integrated any of those emotions, you're shackled to that thought, you're shackled to that memory. And so it's really important to just have forgiveness for other people and just be like, okay, you know what, I mucked up, and just accept people change too, and that's cool. But just having forgiveness for yourself, like, I forgive myself for, you know, my son's birth unfolding the way it did. I didn't know better. And, you know, I forgive, just forgiving people and situations, and really frees you. And it actually is like emotionally cutting the cord to that trauma, that memory, that perception. You know, you're freeing yourself from the shackles of that thought or whatever unfolded, you know? And you know, a lot of the time, something people don't talk about is that, in terms of, like, I'll just say it, affliction causes addiction. So if you've got somebody in your life who has had addiction issues or has addiction issues, just forgive them and openly come to them with an open heart and practice non-judgment. Like, you know what? You probably use and abuse because something happened to you that you can't quite cope with or deal with, you know? And just practice that acceptance. Like, this person, I accept that they have to use this substance because it's their form of coping. It's a coping mechanism. It's a desperate coping mechanism, but for some, you know, it's a pretty desperate situation to kind of get over a deep trauma. So just practicing forgiveness, and it really is. Forgiveness is the key in the alchemist toolkit to turning lead into gold. So turning a shit situation that happened to you into an utter revelation that transforms you and frees you and gives you clarity and perspective and really you know, higher perspective. So one, acceptance. Accept that we are all unique individuals on our own path to self-realization, and you don't need to change anybody or anything. They will go through their own transformation through their own experiences. Two, practicing non-judgment towards ourselves and towards others, as we are all on our own process of awakening and on our own path. Three is forgiveness, forgiveness is the key to freedom and happiness in your own life and in your relationships and friendships. And four, compassion for all living things, whoever, wherever, whatever they are. And just, you know, I really feel for you, because I couldn't walk a day in your shoes, you know, just, and you know, sending somebody love and compassion is actually, you're affecting the outcome of their life and their body and their health. And, you know, forgiveness and compassion are the alchemist keys for turning lead into gold. And we need to navigate life, our daily life, with emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, not emotional ignorance. It's so easy for us to ignore things and be like, if I don't think about it, it doesn't exist. Well, kinda, yeah, but not really. It doesn't get resolved that way. So, you know, just navigating with emotional intelligence and verbalizing, how does this make me feel? You know, and growing your emotional vocabulary. Like, that's not something we're taught or we learn. And I think about my son sometimes, and I think, how frustrating would it be to be a child who doesn't have the vocabulary to verbalize how they're feeling, so their only option is to act it out and play it out, because they can't say, Mom, I'm feeling really frustrated or upset, or I feel threatened. Like, you know, if our children don't know how to express themselves, then they just play it out. And so, you know, there are multiple types of intelligences, and that's another video for another day. But I think we need to navigate from this point forward with emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is not up here, it's in here, it's in your heart. It's not critically overanalyzing everything that happened. It's practicing acceptance for what is, non-judgment. It's okay to think about things and get clarity on them, but not cast your judgments on people. And forgiveness is just like, you know what? That's a minor hiccup in the details. That's a minor thread in the tapestry. Whatever. Let's move on, you know, and creating that, because when you release and let go of something and you forgive this person for a trauma, you think about, you know, that trauma might have afflicted you for 10 years. And when you full-heartedly forgive somebody for something that's happened, you have released 10 years worth of emotional rent, baggage, space in your body, accumulated stress, whatever you want to call it. You have emotionally freed up that space for a more fulfilling experience to come into that space. Because once you empty a space out, it leaves an opening for something else, something new to come in. And that should really excite you, and that should really get, you know, I hope this stimulates some thought on how we can more emotionally navigate these kind of turbulent times. So I'm wishing you all, I'm going to just leave it there, and I'm wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, and holiness. And until next time, yeah, I'm praying that we all just kind of can override whatever judgments come into our mind, and just catch yourself, like, am I accepting this person for who they are? Am I casting my judgment on this person for X, Y, and Z? So wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, and holiness. Until next time, tribe, we'll speak soon.